Welcome. I am Laura Moore, the chairman of the Hardin-Simmons University Board of Trustees. I graduated from HSU in 1986 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology. I'm a former employee of Hardin-Simmons and currently direct an Abilene-based nonprofit organization. I was elected as a trustee in 2015. Finance Committee Chair Drew Pounds and Finance Committee members Rick Strange and Mike Waters have joined me today. With help from these trustees, I am pleased to present this financial update for Hardin-Simmons University. Like many universities, HSU has faced financial challenges over the recent past. Today, I am glad to report that we have addressed these challenges and have also positioned the university for sustained growth. We have put together this presentation to help illustrate the steps taken to overcome past budget shortfalls and to show why we are optimistic about our university's future.
My name is Rick Strange. I graduated from HSU in 1982 with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in accounting. Following graduation, I attended law school at the University of Texas and have been an oil and gas attorney in Midland throughout my career. I have served in a variety of volunteer roles for HSU and in 2006 was elected to the Board of Trustees. I have served on the board's financial committee for most of this time. As we begin this update, it will be helpful to understand our current financial situation by considering some of our history. For almost 130 years, Hardin-Simmons has been educating students and fulfilling its mission. In more recent times, HSU has operated at a deficit. Now, by operating at a deficit, I mean the revenue we receive from students for tuition and fees has not fully covered the cost of operating the university. Historically, the university made up for this deficit by spending unrestricted donor gifts and by borrowing money. The university at times has received unrestricted gifts large enough to put into a savings account or rainy day fund. We refer to this as our quasi-endowment fund. When the annual deficit began to grow at a faster pace, as the cost of educating students increased and the revenues from students decreased, we started having to use more of these rainy day funds to cover the increasing shortfall. These practices, while permissible, eventually led to a decline in the overall financial health in the university. The boards and administrations over the years understood that using these funds was a short-term solution, and we were committed to a plan of revenue growth in which the annual deficits would decrease. Various initiatives designed to increase enrollment were implemented. However, these initiatives did not result in substantial enough enrollment growth to have the anticipated impact. By 2017, the operating deficit had become critical. Banks refused to loan us additional money until we improved our financial condition. The quasi-endowment account was almost depleted, and if we continued our current rainy day account spending levels, it would soon be completely gone. Growing our revenue remained the board's primary goal, even as President Bruntmeyer assumed leadership of the university in 2016. The trustee board and the president's administration also realized it was essential to swiftly begin reducing our expenses so that they would become aligned with the revenue coming from tuition, fees, and other available income streams, and to continue looking for additional ways to create new revenue streams. We all had a challenging task ahead as we set out to change HSU's financial trajectory. We reviewed every expenditure and brought in outside experts to do further evaluation. We implemented an objective scoring system to evaluate each area of operations. During the last couple of years, we made the difficult decision to eliminate programs with low enrollment and underperforming programs, as well as to eliminate certain faculty and staff positions. Closing programs and losing members of the HSU family were incredibly painful steps, but as you will see, were financially necessary. So, as we visit with you today, how have we improved the financial outlook with the process of financial analysis and program evaluation? For the current 2020 year, HSU reduced its costs by $1.7 million. We project savings of $5.4 million in 2021 and $8.4 million in 2022 as the cost savings from the changes we have made are fully realized. In addition, we improved our balance sheet by selling some mineral interest when oil prices were at their peak and reinvesting those proceeds into more diversified investments. The earnings from these investments can help defray operational costs, instead of requiring spending out of our savings or quasi-endowment account, while the principal or corpus funds can be used as collateral for future housing and infrastructure needs, some of which will help us attract and retain students while also generating additional revenue.
My name is Mike Waters. It was my honor to serve 3 consecutive 3-year terms, including 2 years as chairman of the board of Hardin-Simmons in 2015 and 2016. In 2020, I was asked to return for a 3-year term, and I was pleased to do that. I was awarded an honorary Doctor of Laws in 1991, and I retired as the Chief Executive Officer of Hendrick Health System here in Abilene, where I had served for 24 years. At Hardin-Simmons, we have always sought additional revenue sources, along with working to increase our enrollment. Measurable growth has been challenging. It is imperative to find effective ways to grow and retain our student population and to increase our semester hour enrollment and revenue, in addition to implementing cost-saving measures and finding other sources of revenue. Unfortunately, the cost to educate a student at Hardin-Simmons has increased at a much greater rate than the increase in student revenue, creating a significant gap between the per-student cost and the per-student revenue. That increasing gap created financial stress we have had to address. I'm pleased to report that since 2016, when President Bruntmeyer assumed office, enrollment has grown every year. Enrollment today is 10% higher than when he started in 2016, even as most U.S. colleges and universities have been experiencing enrollment declines. With the reduction in low enrollment programs and other cost-saving initiatives, our per-student cost has decreased and our per-student revenue has increased. We expect future revenue to increase even more as a result of the changes that we are making. As for recruiting higher numbers of students, we knew from our conversations with current students, prospective students, and their parents that the condition of our dorms and lack of physical fitness space were hurting recruiting. Renovation of buildings and new constructions are necessary to maintain our campus infrastructure and demonstrate our faith in the future of Hardin-Simmons University. Several of our recent campus construction endeavors have been based on designated gifts, and some of our projects have been strategically financed. For example, to obtain a low-interest $15 million tax-exempt loan available to any qualifying nonprofit, Hardin-Simmons requested and received, as required by law, municipality approval from the City of Abilene. The university used these funds to build new student apartments and construct a new fitness center. These improvements have not only helped attract and retain students, but have also collectively contributed $1.4 million in additional cash flow to the university since their opening. We are grateful for a variety of funding opportunities for project teams, foundations, and donors who also made it possible to renovate several of our most used and beloved buildings and critical infrastructure improvements campus-wide. Responsibly restructuring programs is critically important to effective recruiting. In addition to closing some programs, we have approved new ones and expanded others that are in demand for today's marketplace. For example, to attract more students to higher revenue programs, the existing physical therapy and nursing programs were expanded, and a physician's assistant program was launched. While investments to begin these programs has been necessary, the return on these investments has been positive, both from the student viewpoint and from the perspective of financial return on investment. I know firsthand how important these programs are for this region and beyond, and I'm pleased with the support the university and our students receive from our local healthcare institutions like Hendrick Medical Center. I'm excited to see how these and similar in-demand curriculums will move the university forward.
Hello, my name is Drew Pounds. A student athlete while at Hardin-Simmons, I graduated in 1992 with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in accounting and finance, and immediately began my career in finance. As an alumnus, I have consistently worked in a variety of volunteer HSU roles since 1998 and was asked to be a trustee starting in 2013. I have served on the Finance Committee since then, stepping into the role of committee chairman this year. My wife and I are pleased that both of our children are HSU Cowboys, one a junior and one an incoming freshman. In 2014, outside financial experts began assessing all academic programs at HSU, including the Logsdon Seminary, which was established in 2004. The resulting report indicated that the seminary was likely to require financial assistance indefinitely. Additional reports in 2015 and 2016 showed the same. The administration shared these reports with the deans and faculty as part of the program review process, and later with the trustees when it appeared that the board action would be necessary not only for the seminary but for other programs. In the 2017-18 school year, the board's finance committee and then the full board approved a reduction in force through contract buyouts to lower operating costs of both the university and the seminary. In the 2018-19 school year, the board and the administration worked directly with the seminary's leadership to seek additional ways to improve the seminary's financial condition. Over the course of several months in 2019, the board comprehensively reviewed the financial condition of every academic program, including the seminary. Earlier this year, the board thoughtfully and prayerfully reached a conclusion that because of the historical and increasing need for subsidizing the seminary, and because it would not approach a self-sustaining status, the university could no longer afford to underwrite its losses. As a result of all aforementioned studies and work over the last several years, 22 programs, including the seminary, were sunsetted during 2018 to 2020. As previously announced, students will be able to complete their current courses within those programs, but no new students will be added, and these programs will fully close once the teach-outs are completed. Our accrediting body is the highly respected Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commissions on Colleges. On March 11th of this year, based on third-party concerns, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools began an evaluation of our recent institutional decisions. They issued their findings in a very favorable report dated May 8, 2020, stating, "There is no evidence that recent decisions resulted from undue external influence, but rather were made in the context of established institutional structures through a multi-step process which included participation by varying institutional constituents." Hardin-Simmons has a long-standing commitment to academic freedom, and though it is long-standing published procedure for registering concerns about possible violations of academic freedom, no individuals have done so. The decision to close Logsdon Seminary was made in the context of established institutional governing structures. Recent actions have not violated original Logsdon Seminary donor requirements. The actions to restructure academic programs can be interpreted as actions of financial responsibility. I do want to make clear that while the seminary is being closed, the Logsdon School of Theology will continue to be an integral part of our university as it has been since 1983. Moving forward, HSU will continue to teach Bible classes to all undergraduate students and train those entering the ministry through the Logsdon School of Theology. As we have shared, the board has recently made numerous difficult decisions regarding program closures. These decisions are based in part on an objective scoring system developed in conjunction with the administration. Following this system provides administrators, deans, and faculty timely information for assessing programs and making changes, and for improved guidance of board expectations. Deans and faculties are given all the data for their programs, which are scored based on 5 objective factors. If a program scores unsatisfactory, faculty, deans, and department heads know it quickly and see what variables are causing the unsatisfactory scores. This guides them in decision-making and program planning. Using this system, the administration will provide the board with annual reports covering program health and recommended actions. By following this approach, everyone is better informed all along the way and can better understand and anticipate actions the board may eventually take, be it investing in healthy programs or sunsetting programs that are not financially sustainable. The potential board actions based on program scores are as follows. A rating of 4 is good. The program is contributing to the financial health of the university. No action is necessary. Rating of 3, alert. The provost will advise the dean and the department head or program director that if the program score declines in the following year, it will be placed on probation. Rating of 2, probation. The program is required to submit a plan for financial improvement to be approved by the provost by the last day of fall classes. If the plan is approved, the program rating must improve by the end of the next academic year, or it will move to suspension status. If the plan is not approved, the program will immediately be placed on suspension. Rating of 1, suspension. The board will consider a possible timeline for closure or reduction of the program. The expectation is that each program must be financially viable. In my experience, using objective data and consistent review processes among the board, the administration, and the faculty will help HSU efficiently and effectively steward its resources to continue to provide an education enlightened by faith.
While understanding more about our history and the recent decision is important, we need to be focused on what this means for the future. Without the board's actions, the quasi-endowment account would have been completely depleted this school year or the next. While it has been painful to reverse that trajectory, we have done so, and in the process saved what remains of our quasi-endowment so that we can use it in ways to improve the overall financial health of the university. For the fiscal year that began on June 1, 2020, the university is today projected to operate under a balanced budget without drawing down the quasi-endowment, which means not pulling or spending money from our savings. I truly hope that you have found this information informative and helpful. Increasing revenues and reducing costs, as we have done, has changed the trajectory of the university to operate based on our revenue and puts us in a better place for long-term financial stability. Today, because our board and administration working together have recently faced and made many hard determinations, Hardin-Simmons is well positioned financially for sustained growth.
I'm Eric Bruntmeyer, and it's an honor to serve with such highly qualified and dedicated trustees as those you've seen in this presentation. These people deeply love Hardin-Simmons University and want only the best for the future of our school. In recent years, even in the midst of the challenges you've learned about today, the Hardin-Simmons student body has grown, our student facilities have been improved, and our new programs have been added to better respond to what students are looking for in today's educational environment. HSU's earlier financial status has been addressed, and we're heading in the right direction. These positive outcomes are the result of dedicated, caring people working together because they strongly believe in HSU's mission of providing students with a quality education enlightened by Christian faith and values. Thank you for your time today and for your continued concern and prayers for Hardin-Simmons University.
Thank you for joining us in this overview of HSU's financial outlook. If you have additional questions or would like further information, please send an email message to our Finance Committee Chair, Drew Pounds, at dapounds@hsutx.edu. Although all of these changes have been very difficult, today Hardin-Simmons is financially well positioned for the years ahead. I'm reminded of the phrase from our HSU anthem, "Long may thy worth increase, long live thy noble cause."